Sasquatch phenomena is very complex because what we're dealing with here is people who say that they're out in the forest and they see or otherwise experience what appears to be a rather large bipedal primate that looks somewhat human-like, but it's naked and covered in long hair. In terms of people's descriptions, they range from about the size of a person to 14 feet tall. Signs, in other words, the fruit that's been picked, the deer remains that have been discovered, as well as the scat that's been examined, indicate an omnivorous diet. They're like bears and humans. They eat whatever. And most of the people, other than the hoaxers and liars, who report these events, are just trying to relay to other people an experience they had and an attempt to share and to let them know that, hey, these things are out there. I saw them. Some people think it's a spiritual thing, and that's because the event that they perceived was spiritual in nature. There are people who claim they've had telepathic contact with a Sasquatch, just like there are people who claim they've had contact with alien beings. Now, what I'm not going to do is stand here and state unequivocally that those people are right and that this is an actual external reality that has happened to them, that all of us would have been able to experience had we been there. I'm not going to say that. But I'm also not going to say that those people are damn fool liars or idiots. What biologists do to find these animals is they look for their spoor, and that includes their tracks, first of all, their poop, second of all, maybe a nest they slept in, maybe a tree they rubbed up against, left scratch marks or some hair that was clinging to a bush. This is how wildlife biologists locate these animals, because they don't generally stand around and want you to be seeing them. With Sasquatch, I think because they're just a little bit more sentient than most animals, a little more self-aware, and definitely completely aware, I think, of the relationship between us and themselves, they make that kind of evidence fairly scarce. So when one of their comrades dies, they don't just leave the body laying there. That's a bit of a giveaway, I'd say. So they're going to sequester that dead body away and make sure it's not there to be discovered. We found that in areas where there's been researchers working in the field, following up on reports from local people who've had experiences, that when the researchers show up and start hanging around, the Sasquatch make themselves more scarce. The people don't see them as often. And we found that when the researchers start pouring plaster into their footprints, that the footprints become more scarce. Because these things can hide and watch quite easily. And so they're watching what we're doing. They know what's going on. So it's a lot tougher to track and locate a Sasquatch than even a wolverine. I'm hoping that our museum, by spreading the word and trying to get out a few facts about this, because the news media does not do it credit, we can help to prove that at least some of these things exist, some of these things people think are Bigfoot, that it's not a total made-up fantasy, and thereby be part of a chain attached to a key that might open up a new paradigm of thinking, especially for the scientific community, to where they can take cultural and eyewitness evidence and the word of indigenous peoples, and instead of constantly calling them all fools and liars, that they can integrate that into their studies, allow for it, and let some of their peers study these things that are considered less than genuine without fear of censure and ridicule. So I'm hoping that by proving there's a Sasquatch, the academic community and the professional skeptics will shut their mouths for a change and will allow for multiple discourse, will allow for an agnostic point of view instead of being dead set that there's no this and no that. And let the people who are trying to prove that there might be do it in peace.